In this video, I'm going to show you how to replace the ABS sensor on the front of this Ford F-350. It sits right on top of your wheel bearing and we have to remove the brakes to get to it. So let's get started. With the truck safely raised and supported, let's remove the wheel. Some wheels may have a center cap like this one, others might not. If yours does, all you need is a little pry bar or screwdriver to pop it out. It should have a cutout, so just look around to find it and pry it right off. That'll expose all 8 21mm lug nuts. So with a 21mm socket, remove them all. Now remove the wheel and set it aside. With the wheel turned in all the way, we have much better access to the two 21mm bolts mounting the caliper and bracket assembly onto the front knuckle. Let's remove both of these and remove the caliper off of the rotor. I'm actually going to leave this one threaded in just a few turns so I can hold the caliper and bracket while I remove the bottom one. Take this one out completely, set it aside, pull out the top bolt, and remove the caliper and bracket assembly with the pads and everything. A lot of times these rotors will seize on, so when you go to remove it, it's not going to want to come off. In that case, you could use a hammer, tap it, and then take it off. For me, it looks like it is not seized. I also did spray some rust penetrant right in between the lug studs and the holes on the rotor. Wiggle this and take it off. All right. Looking behind the fender liner, you'll see where the ABS sensor wire gets connected to the vehicle side harness. Let's pop this off of the frame so we can have better access at unhooking it. Use a trim tool and just slide it out. Well, sometimes it breaks, that's okay. Right up here is the lock that you have to press on to unlock the ABS sensor. Okay, there we go. Let's unclip it off of the front control arm. One more spot on the same control arm. Now use an 8mm socket and remove the two bolts holding these two little brackets onto the lower spring support. One more at the top of the knuckle. Now to remove the sensor from the wheel bearing, at this point, sometimes you have a backing shield here that covers it. If so, lift it up, bend it out of the way slightly. It's totally fine to do that. Then get a 5mm Allen on this bolt that locks it on. Sometimes you may need to hammer it in so that it actually locks onto that head of the bolt. Otherwise, it'll just strip it out. These shouldn't be very tight, so once you break it free, remove it. Now, if you have a lot of debris here in this area, clean it off with a wire brush. I've already done that and sprayed some rust penetrant. So at this point, I'm going to take some pliers and turn this back and forth very gently while pulling upwards. I can even use a little pocket screwdriver to help pry this sensor up while I'm twisting it. There's an O-ring in there. That's what's causing it to be stuck. You just want to work it. And there it is. There is a little shim on here that we want to save. Make sure no debris falls into the mounting hole. I'm going to have to get all that out. But there's the sensor. To install the new sensor, make sure that this little shim is either already on it or you transfer it over from the old one. And then carefully slide it down in place. You want to make sure it bottoms out completely by hand, just like that. So keep pressure on it and twist it. You don't want to pull it in with the bolt because that can actually break this ear off. I'm going to straighten out my shim so that everything lines up. Slide the bolt in. Once it's bottomed out, take your ratchet with the 5mm Allen. That's completely snugged up. Just give it a little bit extra. That's all it needs. It's very small and you don't want to break it or strip it out. Let's resecure our ABS wire first on the knuckle. Snug this up and keep in mind it's a very small bolt, so don't tighten it up too much. Loop it around the shock absorber, and two bolts hold it on the differential right by the spring. Make sure the retainer is positioned flat and tighten these up. Just give them a little bit extra and that's good. It is normal for these to want to move around here. A retainer on this control arm. Over here, you're gonna have to reuse the old retainer that came off of the old wire. So clip the new wire back into it and secure it. Now take the electrical connector and plug it in to the vehicle side harness. Make sure that clicks and lock it onto the frame. What we need to do next is clean the surface of the hub, mostly on this outer ridge and the inner ridge right where the rotor sits. In the center, it's recessed so the rotor doesn't actually touch it. And regardless, it looks like it's in decent shape for me. If you need to use a sanding disc and sand these areas down, go ahead, just don't remove too much material. What you're looking for in the end is to have a nice flat surface, clean, free of debris, for the rotor to sit flat on. Otherwise, that can cause braking issues. I'm going to take a wire brush and wire brush all of this and then rinse it with some brake parts cleaner. Apply some anti-seize to the surface so that it doesn't corrode in the future, and try to avoid getting it on the lug studs. If you get it on a little bit, that's okay, you can wipe it off. Now take your rotor and slide it over the hub. Push it on all the way. To ensure that it stays securely mounted on here, I'm going to use 2 lug nuts and bottom them out up against the rotor so that it doesn't move around. Now take your caliper bracket assembly, slide it back over the knuckle. Have at least one mounting bolt ready so that as soon as you line it up, you can thread it on and it'll hold it on for you so you can install the other one. With both started, snug them up. The torque on both of these is 166 foot-pounds. Let's get the wheel on. Install all 8 lug nuts. We'll bottom them out in a cross pattern to seat the wheel evenly, and then also in a cross pattern, we'll torque them to 165 foot-pounds. Once again, 165 foot-pounds in a cross pattern. Here we go. Double check them if you want. I'm sure that mine are tight. So now, because I had this cover, I'm going to put this back on, line it up, if yours had it, with the lug nuts, and then tap it on. There you have it. Take it for a road test.
When only the best will do, demand TRQ. The only company that lets you view before you do. TRQ is committed to offering the highest quality aftermarket auto parts that are engineered for peace of mind. Thanks for using and viewing with TRQ.